I don't know why, I just felt like making this countdown, that's all. The Mario Kart series is one of the most beloved racing franchises in gaming history, popular for its creativity and addicting multiplayer. But the one thing I love about the series are the racetracks. There are a total of 102 different tracks, so you can imagine how difficult this list was. So if you see a track you don't like, or don't see your favourite, please don't complain, as these are only my personal choices. This is not the best Mario tracks of all time, just my favourites. With that said, this is Mad Jack 64's Top 10 Favourite Mario Kart Tracks. Yeah! Let's start this list off with one of the best tracks in the DS version, Delphinus Square. Inspired by Super Mario Sunshine's hub world, the player must maneuver their way through the streets of Delphinus Square, power sliding through narrow pathways and tight corners. The track then continues through the market area, full of boxes containing mushrooms or banana peels, before finishing with a huge jump over a ramp. A useful mushroom can help avoid the tricky turns before reaching the finish line. The track has an overall peaceful and calm nature which is not very common in the Mario Kart series, and the music is once again very soothing. Great track, but we're just getting started, so buckle your seatbelts. Yeah! In my own opinion, the most underrated Mario Kart track. Dicto Flock was probably my favourite stage in Super Mario 64, so can you imagine my excitement when I played a racetrack version for the first time? The track starts with a large clock face area with a long swinging arm rotating in a clockwise motion. Trust me, try to avoid getting hit by this. The track continues with a giant swinging pendulum and some tricky power slides across some rotating gears. After another clock face area, before reaching the home stretch, there is a flat path, or you can ride over two of the large gears before reaching the finish line. The gimmicks are pretty well handled, and the races themselves can be very hectic and fun. Whenever I feel like a fun race, Dicto Flock is the perfect track for any time. Yeah! Who doesn't love Maple Treeway? Taking place in a large autumn forest with lush leaf piles and giant wigglers, the player really feels calm and in touch with Mother Nature. Or is that just the crack I smoked? The track starts off with winding through a large branch of a tree before being shot through a cannon to another tree. Again, where did I get that crack from? After avoiding a field with two giant wigglers and plenty of leaf piles, a winding branch with many boost pads and trick lamps leads to a giant weaving net which can be used to perform tricks before making it to the finish line. While the track can be difficult due to some of the sharp corners with no edge rails, the peaceful, calm nature of the track easily makes up for it. Again, was that just the crack I smoked? Maple Treeway, a clear example of the peaceful side of Mario Kart, if such a side exists. Yeah! Oh yeah, it's Coconut Mall. Man, I love this track. Taking place in a giant shopping mall filled with escalators and crowds of cheering mates was such a unique idea, one unseen in the Mario Kart series yet. The track's gimmick is that escalators are constantly changing from up to down, so you must race up the correct one or struggle to keep first place position. The player starts at the entrance to the mall and must make a decision whether to take the top or bottom path before racing up the correct escalator and making it to the food court, where tricks can be performed on the various trees and fountains. Another choice is made whether to take the top or bottom path again, but the top path lets you jump out of a massive ramp and into the car park. Boost panels are present here, but those annoying drunk driving Miis are constantly accelerating and reversing over them, and hitting the Miis will cause a short spin out. Fucking piece of shit. Avoiding them will result in an easy finish line victory. With the cheerful, catchy music and colourful design, Coconut Mall is a track that will be not forgotten anytime soon. Yeah! The instant I saw Luigis Mansion as a playable track in Mario Kart DS, I was like, IT IS ABOUT FREAKING TIME! The dark, spooky nature of the mansion mixed with the sheer chaos of Mario Kart seemed like a match made in heaven. The track starts at the entrance to the mansion, where the player must maneuver through tight corners until exiting the mansion into the cemetery. This dark area is filled with slippery mud and menacing trees that move horizontally to try and block your path. The dark, eerie tone of the original game is present here, as the level's spooky music and mysteriously vanishing grooves are a true testament to that. With the spooky nature, creepy design, and perfect difficulty, Luigi's Mansion is a perfect example of quality and quantity combined.
Yeah!
Hey, have you ever noticed that there are tons of Peach-related Mario Kart tracks, but there aren't many Daisy-related ones? I find that kind of disappointing. But all that neglection is forgiven for one track, Daisy Cruiser. Taking place on a motherfucking boat, the player must race their way through the swaying and shifting hulls. The player starts at the hull of the ship, and must drift around the inconvenient swimming pool, and proceed down the lower deck. The track then continues in the dining hall, where the racer must avoid the sliding dining tables and other furniture. Then there are two paths to take. The first is a narrow path leading to the finish line, while the second is a shortcut which leads to the cargo hold, which has a double item box and a cannon which blasts you to the back of the track, where you can finish the race. With the catchy music, great level design, and really interesting concept, Daisy Cruiser was originally my favourite Double Dash track. Until I played that one track.
Yeah!
DK Mountain is hands down my favourite Double Dash stage. The player starts at the base of the mountain before being launched up from a cannon to what appears to be a rather unhappy volcano. Gee, I wonder what his problem is. You then go downhill over some ramps before making it to the grassy descent path. Boulders then start to roll down from God knows where with a single goal of making you spin out and potentially lose the race. There then comes a large crevice where a convenient mushroom can help clear it, but if you don't, you have to take a huge path around it and potentially lose if someone has a mushroom. Finally, there comes a large wonky bridge, which is the last place you want to spin out. A single item will result in you falling off and definitely make you lose the race. The hazards may be difficult sometimes, but difficulty isn't always a bad thing now, is it? Right? With its upbeat music, great level design, and perfect difficulty, DK Mountain is hands down my favourite Mario Kart track. From Double Dash, that is.
Yeah!
What's that? Another Mario Kart DS track? Well, it just so happens that the DS version probably has the best selection of tracks, and Airship Fortress is no exception. Taking place in the midst of a battle between Bowser's airships, you really feel like you're part of an epic battle going on. Starting at point-blank firing range, you must maneuver through the oncoming barrage of bullet bills. After successfully dodging the army of Monty Moles, you enter one of the airships and make it to the interior, where pillars of fire are present with the occasional crane. The tension accelerates, literally, after being shot from one of the cannons and landing in a collapsing spiraling tower before reaching the finish line. Ah, Airship Fortress. One of the greatest Mario Kart tracks to date.
Yeah!
Oh yeah, don't act like you didn't see this coming. Of course this is going to be on the list. Waluigi Pinball is often considered to be the greatest Mario track ever, and there is little reason to disagree. The track's arcade-like feel was totally new to Mario Kart, and the music is upbeat and catchy as hell. The track starts with the player being shot out of a cannon like a pinball, and continues with the players weaving in and out of colourful paths while avoiding giant pinballs. Eventually the players reach the bumper area, where the pinballs ricochet off walls and bumpers, and flippers bounce you all over the place. The track's chaotic, zany nature has yet to be matched in the series, which is why it's so popular. With its catchy music, perfect length, and flawless concept, Waluigi Pinball is just an amazing track, and always has me coming back for more. But I can only think of one track better. Which is it? Well, how about we have a quick recap first. Number 10, Delphino Square. Number 9, Dicto Flock. Number 8, Maple Treeway. Number 7, Coconut Mall. Number 6, Luigi's Mansion. Number 5, Daisy's Cruiser. Number 4, DK Mountain. Number 3, Airship Fortress. And number 2, Waluigi Pinball.
Yahoo! Come on! Oh yeah! Hey! Hey!
The instant I thought of making this list, only one track came to mind, and that track is Mushroom Gorge. This track can be summed up in one word: perfect. This is how far I would go to design a Mario Kart track. The stage's design is set in a huge gorge filled with bouncing mushrooms and mini pitfalls. Seriously, it's one of the most unique tracks yet. The music is also very funky and catchy, and it goes so well with the setting of the stage. The track starts with a rather rigorous shortcut followed by two paths. The left path is a long corner with boost pads, while the right path is a giant leap over some bouncing mushrooms. Once entering in the cave, the two choices are the right, which is a few short hops over the mushrooms, and the left, which are mushrooms that elevate you up and end with a huge leap of faith, which I really don't recommend. After a tricky corner with Goombas, seriously those Goombas are annoying, the finish line is reached. The track itself isn't really long or short, it just has that perfect length. The addition of tricks in Mario Kart Wii wasn't really used that well, if you know what I mean, but this is the stage that perfected it. I could talk for hours upon hours about why this is my favourite track, but I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself. The track has perfect length, the music is upbeat and funky, the graphics and the design are charming and colourful, and the bouncing mushrooms are a great gimmick. Oh, it's just a wonderful stage. Mushroom Gorge, my favourite Mario Kart track to date.